Hi guys, welcome to a new crafty video. So this is an outgoing happy mail that I'm doing and a swap that I'm doing with Alisha from Love Letter Generation. So this is everything I've sent her. It might be a bit jumbled up because I needed to test that it's going to fit in the box to send over as she's in Australia. So this is what I've made her. So first off, I've made her a couple of these easels. And for this I've used Prima Collection Spring Abstract for this swap, and it's such an amazing bright pastel colour collection. Great for the summer months. Then made her 4 little cards, note cards, and I've left them blank inside. So we've got that one. I've then made her 3 of these little envelopes. So we've got that one, and I've left them unused so she can add her own tape onto them. And then I've made them shakers. I bought the flowers to go with the collection as well. Everything's a little bit all over the place in the box. So I've made her some of these little butterflies, and then I've stitched across. So we've got that one, and this one, and I've got a feeling there's another one somewhere in the box, obviously. I've made these butterflies. This is using one of the new 𝓬𝓱𝓲𝓽𝓮 dies, and I've used some coloured vellum on these. So there are butterflies in this collection. So I've just used some of the pattern paper, and then I've made the front bit out of the different coloured vellum. The little one hiding in the bottom. I've then got these shakers. Again, I think these are a 𝓬𝓱𝓲𝓼, but I think these ones are more an older one, possibly from last year maybe, not entirely sure. I've then made her these bow dies. So I've made 2 big and 2 small. So I've done a blue, 2 blue, and then the 2 pink. And I've left these pretty plain so she can decorate them herself. Trying to dig to the bottom, see what I've got. I found the other butterfly, there she is. And then I've made her a number of rosettes, so all different sizes, and I've made one out of vellum using the pattern paper. I've then made her a couple of these shaker frames. So I've decorated one, and then I've left one blank for her. This collection has got quite
a lot of the iridescent through it, so I've got some iridescent frames from the range to use, and then I've used some of the flowers there. I made 3 of these embellishments. Oh, some words have come off that one. So we've got that one, and then I've used some enamel, not enamel, sorry, some Nuvo drops. Let's just stick this back on. And then I've left one blank for her to decorate. I've then made her a number of these, and I'm going to use these as bag toppers for when I put them in some bags. So I've made her 4, and then I've stuck little butterflies on the ends, look. Made them 3D, so there's 4 of those. I've then made her this keychain. And then I've made her some of these fringed hearts. I've decorated the one. And then I have left 2 blank. I've then made her some of these little shaker envelopes, so I've made 4, and then I've just popped a little puffy sentiment on them all. So there's that one, and then this one, and then this one. I've then made 3 of these large little envelopes, so I've left one blank, pink, because you can use that in any collection. And then I've made these and decorated them, and I've added a little charm on there, and I've matched the words up with the words that I've used. And then inside, this collection comes with these beautiful little tickets, so I've added a ticket in there and a tag from the ephemera pack. And then this is the other one. I've added a love charm on there, and again she's got a tag and another one of those tickets. That's another one of the tickets there, and then that's one of the other tickets. Then I've also done the same with the smaller ones. So again, she's got a pink one that's blank, and it's got some iridescent splashes on the bottom, and then I've used some tiny wax seals that I was gifted. I think these were from Chloe in some Happy Mail that she sent me last year. And then I've just added some of these flowers. These were Prima flowers I bought recently as well. I've made one of these little envelopes, and this is the 3x3 envelope. And I've added a little charm on it, and some of the ephemera, and I've put a water dot on it. I've made her a couple of paper clips. So I've made this one, and I've included a little lemon charm, as there's lemons also in this collection. One of those little butterflies that I've made. Oh, a bow there.
here is the other one. And then I've added a dangle on it. I've wire wrapped these. These were gifted to me by Carly last year, I think. And then I've just added a bead in the middle, making them look like a little flower. I've made her a number of little flags. So there's these two. And then these two. I've also made a couple of keychains. Again, I've used that sorry, not scrap either, it's 𝓬𝓱𝓲𝓼 die. And what I've done is I've used the backing from this die to make the backing. And then I've added a little tassel on that I've made myself and a little clasp. So she's got a blue one there. And then there is a pink one. I've also got a couple of these flags that I've made, and I've added pom-poms on the top. So we've got Adventure and Count Your Blessings, and that's the chipboard from the collection that I've used there. I've made a couple of these paintbrushes. Again, this 𝓬𝓱𝓲𝓼. This is a recent one that I've purchased from them. I've then made her a wand, and I've added a little dangle charm at the bottom. I'm running out of room on the desk. Ooh, drop something. Too much stuff. I've then made her a little bobbin embellishment. Stuck a button on the top. And then there's a couple of these. I've added some dangles on. I've made her a memory dex card. I've then made her a mini clipboard, and I've added, this was gifted to me in a swap I did. I can't remember who gifted this. I can't remember, sorry. But I've put some ribbon on the front and some of the tickets and one of the tags, some of the ephemera, and just some die cuts that I've done. And then in here, I'm also gifting her some of the ephemera pieces and some of the tickets. And the, I think it's the two to three tags. And then there's these sticker sheets that I'm gifting, these cut aparts. And then some of the paper from the collection. This is from the 6x6 pad that I had left over. So I'm also gifting her those so she can make some things using the collection. I've then made this little easel embellishment. Then I've made a number of these tassels. So there's 4 of them. So that's 1. That's 2, and I've made a charm out of some of the pattern paper. I've got a pink one, with a flower on the bottom. And then this one is the last one with a little butterfly on. Then I've also made some tassel charms. So again, I've used some of the pattern paper to make a charm for that one. So I think there's 4 of these, or 3 or 4. So there's that one, and there's that one. I've tried to match the ribbon to the collections that I've used. So there's those 4. Digging deep in my box, because I haven't. It's all mixed up. So now I've got this little tub that I've filled with some wire wrapped beads that I've done. And then just some of the store-bought goodies, because they're on the top of the box. So I've gifted some of these sequins. They're little tiny butterflies in a blue, beautiful blue, and I've used these in the sequin mix that I've made. Then I've bought these wax seal stickers. She's got these stars. I've tried to keep it silvery. There's 3D butterflies. There's some flower trim there. Of course, some candy kitties. Some of these handmade with love charms. Some of these little iridescent hearts. Then I've gifted her one of these leaf dies. I've found this super handy with doing this kind of florally collection, because you can just cut a load out. And then I've made this little purse for her. Again, I've tried to match the colours up. Then I've got her, you can't really see them in the bag, but actually let's get them out. There's a couple of pins, because I saw in a previous video that she likes pins. So I've got her a couple of crafty themed pins. So there's this one. It says 𝓷𝓸𝓽𝓮 with a pair of scissors, and this one is a glue gun, and it says 𝓷𝓸𝓽𝓮. I've then done her a little embellishment tag flip pack thing. So I've included some of these butterfly charms that I've used throughout the collection. Some of the little tiny butterflies that I've cut out of paper. Some of those leaf dies that I was just on about. Some flowers. Some more little die cuts and some more flowers. And then there's some charms in there, butterfly charms and flowers. And then this is a chain, but it's got blue diamonds on it. And then some leaf trim there. And then some fabric butterflies. Can't really see because of the glare. And then I've made her some of those charms using the paper. So that's that pack. And then, oh, got that. Got some more butterfly stickers. I've got this box that I've just added a doily, and there's lots of bits and pieces in there. So there's flowers, there's paper clips, there's wooden pieces, there's wax seals, there's some more of those flower petal things, paper clips, everything, beads. So I thought that would just be a nice little box for her to have a look through. Then I've made this little heart box, and inside I filled it with some of these beautiful flowers. Made her an A.
added some of the flowers on. Then I've made her a hoop that I've decorated. So there's the hoop. And then inside I've included some some of the words that I've made. So we've got pen pal, happy mail kind of words there. Then we've got spring words, and then the new crafty words by from KS Craft. So that fit nicely in there. I've then got her this purse. It's got an A on it. She loves Hello Kitty, and then there's a bath bomb and a face mask in there that I've added. Some of those puffy stickers and some of the frames that I've used, the iridescent, and there's gold and silver ones in there as well. Coming to the end of the box, guys. Some more store-bought goodies. We've got these beads and some sequins, and then we've got some butterfly ribbon. I'm not sure that you can see it from there. I've then added some of the sequin mix that I've used in the collection. And then I've done a sequin tower. So in there we've got some beads. So there's butterfly beads, then there's some flower beads. And there. Then there's some flower flatbacks. And we've got some charms. Tassels. There's a blue and a white one in there. Oh, squeaks. And then the last one are some of these foam glittery butterflies. I've then made her this book stack memory decks. Followed a tutorial that I found online. So in the first little book, I've got some of those velvet bows that I've been using, everyone's been making recently. And this one, I've made her some flowers, and there's some pink bows underneath. And then in the last one, I've got some of the buttercups that I've added. So I made her that. Then made her this book stack. So the top one, I've made her some of these little bow picks, and then I've got the We Are Memory Keepers badge makers. I've made her some paper clips. So in the next one, we've got some of these banners that I've made, and then there are these kind, and then these, and then right at the bottom I've made some of these flowers. one. We've got all sorts of bows and shakers that I've made. I've then made her this clipboard. I've made a pocket on the front, and my plan is to put some of these items on here on the clipboard using the ring binder. I've then made her a glue stopper. I've put a little A on there. And then I've also made her a pokey tool. I'll try and get this one out. I've added her name on there. And then put a big massive bow on there. And I'll attach these to the front of the clipboard. I've then made her this embellishment. And then I've used some of the 𝓿𝓲𝓽𝓮 drops to make it look like raindrops on some of the butterflies and some, I'm not sure whether you can see them on camera, on some of the leaves. And then last but not least, I've made her this altered paintbrush. I've been really excited to give this a go, and I'm really pleased with how it's turned out. I think it looks amazing. I've used some of the flowers from the collection and some of the papers there, and a frame, a bottle cap, and then I've decorated a wooden butterfly that I've even added some of the silver on it as well. And then again I've put some of the drops on to make it look like rain. So that's everything that I've made for Alisha. I hope I'm going to be able to fit it all in the box. That'll be another story maybe. But I hope you like it. I hope she likes it. And thank you guys for watching. Bye for now. Have a lovely crafty day.